It seems like Elon Musk is everywhere these days.
Yeah, he really is, isn't he?
Space travel, electric cars, social media, I mean, you name it.
Right.
But a Trump rally? That's a new one, right?
It's a fascinating collision of worlds, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Tech, politics, and a healthy dose of personality cult all rolled into one.
Okay, so let's rewind for a second for those who maybe haven't been glued to the news like we have.
Right.
October 5th, Trump rally in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Musk takes the stage and explicitly endorses Trump, even going so far as to say, and I quote, "President Trump must win to preserve the Constitution. He must win to preserve democracy in America." Strong words.
Yeah, strong words.
But it wasn't just the endorsement that had people talking, was it?
No, it was the jump.
Right, the jump.
That seemingly spontaneous burst of energy.
I know, It's
become the defining image of the event.
It really has.
Which speaks volumes about how we perceive Musk.
Totally.
He's often unpredictable, operates outside the expected norms, and this very public display of, let's call it exuberance, in such a traditionally buttoned-up setting,
well,
it threw everyone for a loop.
It really did. And the internet, especially X, had a field day. Ron Filipkowski, the guy behind Midas Touch, tweeted, "Even Trump thinks Elon is a weirdo."
Yeah, which is a fascinating observation when you think about it. Even someone known for their own unconventional behavior found this noteworthy. It highlights just how unexpected Musk's actions can be.
Totally. And then there were the more lighthearted comparisons. People were saying he looked like an excited kid, or even, and this one cracked me up, a homeschool kid let loose.
I saw that one. And that brings up a really interesting question. Does this kind of atypical behavior help or hurt Musk?
Yeah.
On one hand, it plays into his image as a maverick, someone who defies expectations. But on the other, it raises questions about his judgment, especially in the context of something as serious as a presidential election.
Right, because it's not like he just stumbled onto that stage.
Right.
The day after the rally, he posts a picture of himself, Marriott hat on, American flag backdrop.
Oh, yeah.
And we know he's donated to Trump in the past, so this was a deliberate move.
Exactly, and that's what makes this so intriguing. Is this purely about politics for Musk, or is there an element of self-promotion at play? How does this tie into his businesses, his brand, that carefully crafted public persona?
It's like he's playing 4D chess while the rest of us are still trying to figure out checkers. But what I'm really curious about is, what does this actually mean? What are the implications here?
We have to consider a few things.
Okay.
First, is this a sign of things to come? Is this Musk dipping his toes into the political waters, testing the temperature? He's got the platform, the resources, and clearly the willingness to get involved.
Which, if true, throws a whole new wrench into the upcoming election.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And then there's the question of how this impacts his companies.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Does this alienate potential customers, investors,
Mm-hmm.
or does it attract a different segment, those who admire his boldness and align with his political stance?
It's such a fascinating dynamic because you can't separate the man from the companies anymore, can you? His actions, his words, they all reflect on Tesla, SpaceX, X.
Exactly. And that's the world we live in now. These spheres of influence, tech, politics, personal branding, they're all intertwined.
So how do we as consumers, as citizens, even begin to navigate this? Where do we draw the line between supporting a company and supporting the CEO's political views?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And there's no easy answer. But this event, this jump, it forces us to confront these questions head on.
It really does. And it makes you wonder, what's next? Will we see more of this type of bold political move from Musk? Will other tech CEOs follow suit?
It's certainly a possibility. And it highlights a larger trend we're seeing, which is this merging of tech influence and political power.
Which is a whole other deep dive for another day. But for now, let's unpack what we've learned about Musk's motivations and the potential consequences of his actions.
It's a bit like watching a high-stakes game unfold in real time, isn't it?
Yeah, in a way.
We're all trying to decipher Musk's endgame. Understand the motivations behind his moves.
And I think that's what's really captured everyone's attention.
Yeah.
It's not just about the endorsement itself, but the WHY.
Right.
What is he hoping to achieve?
Exactly. And to understand that we have to look beyond the surface.
Okay.
Musk has a history of championing free speech,
Right.
even when it's controversial.
For sure.
He's also spoken out against what he sees as government overreach,
Yeah.
particularly in the tech sector.
Right, like his whole back and forth with the SEC a while back.
Precisely so. When you view this Trump rally appearance through that lens, it takes on a new dimension.
I see what you're saying.
This isn't just about endorsing a candidate. It's about aligning himself with a particular ideology,
Okay.
one that resonates with his own beliefs about limited government and individual liberty.
Okay, so that's one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
But we also have to consider his business interests, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
SpaceX, for example, relies heavily on government contracts.
Right.
Tesla benefits from government subsidies for electric vehicles.
Sure.
So it's not far-fetched to think that Musk's political moves are, at least in part, calculated to maintain or even strengthen those relationships.
It's like he's playing this incredibly complex game of chess, where each move has to be carefully considered for its impact on both the political and business landscapes.
And that's where things get really interesting, because it's not just a game for him, is it?
Right.
These decisions have real-world consequences.
For sure, and it's not just about Musk either.
Right.
This whole situation has sparked a broader conversation about the role of tech leaders in our society.
Yes, it used to be that CEOs were expected to stay out of politics to keep their personal views separate from their businesses. But that line has become increasingly blurred in recent years.
Yeah.
And Musk's recent actions are a prime example of that.
It's kind of like we don't even know the rules of the game anymore.
Right.
Tech CEOs used to be these behind-the-scenes figures, but now they have platforms and influence that rival, even surpass traditional political figures.
And that raises a whole host of questions.
Doesn't it?
About accountability, transparency, the potential for conflicts of interest.
Totally.
When someone like Musk, with his vast business empire and outspoken political views, makes a move like this, it sends ripples across multiple sectors.
For sure. I mean, it's not just about a tweet or a rally appearance anymore. It's about the bigger picture. Makes you wonder how much influence do these tech leaders have and how are they using it?
It's a question that we as a society are still grappling with.
Yeah, I don't think there are any easy answers.
There's no easy answer, and the lines are only going to get blurrier as technology continues to evolve and these companies become even more deeply embedded in our lives.
So where does this leave us? What do we do with all of this information, this new understanding of the intersection of tech, politics, and personality?
Well, I think the first step is awareness. Yeah. We need to be having these conversations, questioning the motivations behind these actions, and considering the potential consequences, both intended and unintended.
It's about being informed, engaged citizens even, or maybe especially when it comes to the world of tech, which can feel so removed from our everyday lives.
Exactly. Because ultimately, these aren't just abstract concepts. They have real-world implications for all of us. The decisions these tech leaders make, the stances they take, they shape the world we live in.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, the question I'll leave you with is this. What surprised you most about this whole Elon Musk at the Trump rally situation? And what does it tell us about the state of tech, politics, and influence in today's world?
It's a lot to unpack, but these are the conversations we need to be having. Because one thing's for sure, this is just the beginning.
It certainly feels that way. Thanks for diving deep with us. Until next time, keep asking those good questions and stay curious.